presentation is for students who are taking physical science for me at the Learning Link, but they did their Apologia General Science book at home. This should be viewed after the orientation meeting and after you've completed the other assignment that was sent to you. This is mainly just to review some of the things that happen in class each week and to let you know how to use some of the tools that I've given you. For example, each week when you arrive to class, you will find a folder with your name on it. Inside the folder will be any papers that I'm returning to you that I have corrected in the previous week. You need to take out those assignments and put them in the front of your binder. Now, if you get to class early enough and you want to look over them, that's fine. But if it's time to start the class, I'd like you just to put them in your binder, and then you can look at them when you get home or the next day when you start science. The assignments that you're turning in for me, for example, a lab report or an outline or a study guide, you'll put those assignments in this folder. Then, when you come into class, you'll look up at the slides, and there'll always be a slide that tells you the things that you need to have out. For example, if we were going to do experiment 1.1 and you needed your colored pencils, I'd ask you to put on top of your folder your lab report and your colored pencils. And then if there's anything in addition that you need to put in your folder to be turning in, that would be listed on this first slide as well. So every week when you come, this slide will be up telling you exactly what you need to be turning in and what you need to get out and have ready for class. At the end of the class, you'll turn in this folder, and I'll check to make sure that everything is in there that we need. Now, every other Monday, I will email your assignments for the next module. We spend 2 weeks on each module. So every other Monday, I'll send you those assignments of what you need to do for that module. Now, if for some reason you get up on Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, you check, and I have forgotten to email those assignments to you, then I ask that right away you give me a call, because obviously I forgot to do it on Monday night and we need to get those sent out. Also, if ever in the assignments you find a mistake, like maybe I put the wrong page number or the wrong lab number or something, I'd like you to let me know and send me an email so that I can get that corrected. I want to explain to you how I do my grades in physical science. For every module, we have one test that you will take at home on the computer. And all of those tests will add up to be 30% of your grade. We have a quiz each week at the end of class. And again, all of those will add up to be 30% of your grade. We also will have lab reports, a variety of those and different numbers for each module, but those will all add up and be 20% of your grade. And the final 20% is what I call deadlines and organization. That includes things like having your work done on time and not losing points for them being late, having your binder well organized, and the way that I sort of test that that's well organized is by something I call the weekly treasure hunt. What happens with the weekly treasure hunt is at the beginning of class, I'll randomly choose something that should be in your binder, and I'll ask you to find that in your binder in about 10 or 15 seconds. For example, maybe when we get to module 7 or 8, I might have the treasure hunt be that day that you go back and find your test from module 5. And if you've got that filed in your binder, like I have explained to organize your binder, it shouldn't be any trouble at all for you to find that and earn the points for the treasure hunt. Now, I did explain in the guidelines and late policy what my late policy is, but I just want to point out a few important things with that. First of all, the only way that you can receive full credit for an assignment that's turned in late is if I get a note or an email from a parent. I can't just have it from the student saying that they were sick or that they went on a trip or something like that. I need to hear that from the parent that they want them excused from any late penalty. Otherwise, there's a 10% deduction for each day that something is late. And after a week, I no longer accept those assignments. Now, There's a note here about cheating, and this is more that you don't unintentionally do something. For example, this year there are 2 sections in physical science. There's a morning class and an afternoon class. I do give the same quiz for both sections, and therefore it's really important that you don't ask or tell students from the other class what's on the quiz. So for example, if you're in the morning class and you come and take the quiz, and then you have a friend who's in the afternoon class, just make sure that you don't tell them what the vocabulary words are or what any of the questions are on the test. Same way, if you're in the afternoon class, don't be asking the people in the morning class what was on the quiz, because that would be cheating and that would not be good. Now, what's the purpose of this class? Well, first of all, I want you to know that I'm here to answer your questions. You can either ask your questions in class, or I'm happy to answer them via email. Also, my job is to summarize the material in the textbook. I do my best to present it in maybe a little bit different way, so if you didn't understand it the first time, maybe the way I do it will help you understand a little bit better. But generally, we stay just with the material that's in the textbook. And I really hope that we can have fun while learning this material. Now, one of the things that you should have received at the orientation night was some vocabulary flashcards, and I just want to give you some pointers of how to use those. First of all, when you're learning vocabulary, you want to focus on the important words in the definition. It's really a good idea that you say the definitions out loud, not just in your head. I also require that you write down the definitions each day, and it's really best if you do that, obviously, without looking at the definitions while you're doing it. It's also a good idea to learn those vocabulary cards front and back. So you look at the word and say the definition, but also try some times where you look at the definition and try and say the word. I assign on your assignment sheet, I have you practice these vocabulary words each day at the beginning and the end of your science time. It's important to be honest with yourself. If you know you don't know that definition, then you probably need to work on it more than what I've asked you to do. Maybe before you go to bed at night or after you brush your teeth in the morning, something like that. So make sure that you're learning those well. Vocabulary words are on the quizzes and sometimes on the tests, and it's important that you have them almost, if not word perfect. Another thing you need to watch is the video about writing outlines for my science classes. That's on a separate video, so you need to watch that when you're done here. Finally, welcome to physical science. I am looking forward to a great year, look forward to getting to know you, and having a great time learning about God's creation.